हेलो व्यूअर्स। आज बहुत टाइम के बाद मैं रिकॉर्ड कर रही हूँ अपने ऑपरेशन के बाद। ये आज है राखी स्पेशल, क्योंकि मेरे साथ है मेरे कजन ब्रदर डॉक्टर हरवीर सिंह ग्रोवर, जो एक वेटेरियन है एंड जो हिंदी में बोलती हूँ एनिमल्स के डॉक्टर। एंड चंडीगढ़ में मोहाली में ये एक बहुत माने डॉक्टर हैं एनिमल्स के। और ये स्पेशल एपिसोड इसलिए है क्योंकि ये आज हमारे साथ डिस्कस करेंगे। आप लोग के कितने सवाल मेरे पास आए थे, क्योंकि एनिमल्स में भी एपिलेप्सी होती है। एंड ये राखी स्पेशल है क्योंकि अगले 2 दिन में हम लोग राखी सेलिब्रेट करने वाले हैं। तो प्लीज हमारा स्वागत कीजिए डॉक्टर साहब के साथ। मेरे तो भाई हैं, बचपन से बहुत हम लड़ते थे। और स्पेशल जोजी एंड अमांडा इन अमेरिका, सी आई एम वेयरिंग पर्पल, इवन पर्पल आईलाइनर आई एम वेयरिंग, आई एम ऑल पर्पल। और मेरे ब्रदर ने भी देखो पर्पल पहना है मेरे लिए। सो ही सपोर्टिंग आवर कॉज एंड we have him with us today. And please welcome us. He's here to answer our questions. Dr. Grover, he's running his own pet healing touch pet clinic in Mohali. And Dr. Grover, please welcome you on our epilepsy show.
Thank you all. A very good evening to you all. I'm glad that I'm on this show, and I hope I'm of some help to you in whatever questions you have to ask.
There are so many questions, Dr. Grover or Harveer ji, we call him. Most common, एक बहुत कॉमन क्वेश्चन आता है कि आपके पास हाउ मेनी पेशेंट्स कम विद एपिलेप्सी, कितने पेशेंट्स आते हैं एपिलेप्सी के साथ? इज इट अ वेरी कॉमन डिजीज?
It's a very common phenomena. Epilepsy itself perhaps might be a... See, epilepsy is different from seizures. We have many cases which come as seizures, but to establish a case of status epilepticus, we have to go through a procedure of elimination. There are a lot of diseases which can lead to seizures, so we can't attribute all those diseases, all those seizures to epilepsy. So first we have to go through the process of eliminating the various causes which can cause those seizures. Once we establish that there's no cause which we have known, then we can say it's a status epilepticus. And if it's a recurrence of more than 3 times perhaps in a day, or a cluster which is uncontrollable, then we give it the status of status epilepticus.
मतलब देखो, हम लोग तो इंसान बोल सकते हैं आपको कि हमें सीजर्स हो रहा है, हमारे रिलेटिव्स बोलते हैं, हमारे फैमिली मेंबर्स आपको बोल देते हैं। एनिमल्स, डॉग्स, कैट्स, ये सब नहीं बता सकते। तो हाउ डू यू, आप डायग्नोस कैसे करते हैं कि डॉग्स को, कैट्स को, एनिमल्स को, काउस को, सब किसी को एपिलेप्सी है? हाउ डू यू डायग्नोज इट?
ऐसा है, जैसे हमें एक क्लाइंट का फोन आता है कि मेरे डॉग को एक वो ट्रम्बल कर रहा है, वो लेट गया है, वो पेडलिंग कर रहा है, उसके मुंह में झाग आ रहा है, उसकी आंखें रोल कर रही हैं। तो ये जो सिम्टम्स कुछ बताते हैं तो हमें लगता है यस, एक सीजर हुआ है इसको। और हमें बुलाते हैं कि आप वापस क्लिनिक में आ जाओ, हम आगे इसका कार्रवाई करेंगे, इसकी ट्रीटमेंट देखेंगे, इसको डायग्नोसिस के लिए हम वेरियस प्रोसीजर्स इस्तेमाल करेंगे, फिर स्टैब्लिश करेंगे क्या। तो जब वो लेकर आते हैं क्लिनिक पे, तो पहले हम उनका पैरामीटर चेक करते हैं, उनके सारे हेल्थ स्टेटस देखते हैं, ब्लड टेस्ट होता है, देखते हैं आपकी पॉजिटिव नहीं है। अगर हमारे होते हुए उस दरमियान एक सीजर हो गया तो हमें पता चल जाता है किस इंटेंसिटी का है, क्या है, और ड्यूरेशन क्या है। अगर नहीं पता चलता तो हम कई बार उनको बोलते हैं आप रिकॉर्डिंग करके लाओ कि आपने क्या देखा, हम
ओके,
रिकॉर्ड करके हमें पता चल सकता है क्या है। So that's the idea we get, and then we proceed.
दिस इज अ पॉइंट, आई मीन व्यूअर्स, आई लाइक टू से कि मतलब हम लोग नॉर्मल जो डॉक्टर्स होते हैं, हम लोग दिया हम उनको बता सकते हैं कि हमें एलिमेंट क्या, हमें दर्द इधर हो रही है, उधर हो रही है, यहाँ हो रही है। पर एनिमल्स कुछ बोल नहीं सकते। यहाँ वेट्स आई थिंक कहीं ज्यादा ऊपर हैं, ऊंचे हैं, उनको पहले पता करना पड़ता है एनिमल्स को किधर दर्द हो रही है, किधर तकलीफ हो रही है, और उसके बाद उनको ट्रीटमेंट देना पड़ता है. So I think a thousand salutes to vets. I think they are much upper, much higher than normal doctors. Total bow to all the vets. Bow, doggy wala bow also. Not because he's my brother, but I mean to all the vets everywhere. I mean 1,000 bows. Okay. One more thing, Haviji. One more question. Medications जो animals और humans को होती है in epilepsy, क्या वो medication same होती है?
They're more or less the same. See, medicines are always the same. It's just that certain medicines we do not use in dogs because perhaps they're not so responsive. But the ones which are, we use phenobarbital, we use levetiracetam, we use potassium bromide, we use Gardneril, we use compost, we use diazepam, lorazepam. So all these are drugs which are used to control various forms of seizures. And depending on the intensity, we mix and match certain drugs. So the time we reach a plasma level where we can reach a level where we can control those seizures. So all medicines are more or less the same. Certain drugs we
नहीं.
might not use.
अभी देखिए जैसे मेरा डॉग सिजलर है, उसको एपिलेप्सी है, एंड आई आल्सो यूज लेवेट्रोसिटम. अगर मेरे को उसको सीजर हो गया, एंड क्या मैं खुद अपने आप दे सकती हूँ, आई शुड कंसल्ट यू?
No, no, no.
है
You
ना?
should never medicate
या
on your own. Never.
या
It's always
या
good to consult because you really don't know. You've just seen a seizure. That could be a symptom. Seizure is like a symptom to some underlying cause. Unless we eradicate or we go through a differential diagnosis and find out what it is and eliminate the various other possibilities, then we say it's a seizure, then we say it's a epileptic form of seizure, and then we treat that. But if there's a liver involved, if there's infection involved, any of these things, then you have to first. So it's not treating the seizure. We have to treat the causative of
the
what the seizure.
root cause of the
The cause
disease.
of it. Seizure is a symptom for us. It's not a disease. It's a symptom telling us there's something happening. So we need to go through various procedures to establish what is the cause of it and then treat that cause effectively.
राइट. मतलब आपको कंसल्ट करना चाहिए, ये नहीं कि मतलब वो एनिमल है उसको कुछ भी दवाई दे दो, वी शुड कंसल्ट द
No, no,
वेट.
no, no.
हाँ.
A seizure is not, see, it is, like I told you, it is telling you there's something wrong. But first, you have to establish why the seizure has come. Once we eliminate the possible cause, what could be, through various tests that we perform, and once we establish that, yes, those diseases are not prevalent and something is got to do with the nervous system, then we will call it seizures of epileptic form. And epilepsy is something which is not treatable, but it's manageable. We manage that with medications and with lifestyles. And we do have a very effective regimen in which we can establish a very comfortable and a happy life for the pet.
अच्छा, एक बात बताइए, कैन आवर पेट्स एनिमल्स डाई ड्यू टू एपिलेप्सी? मोर्टालिटी रेट क्या है इसमें?
See, mortality rate basically is not because of effort and whether there are any underlying causes, underlying diseases which are there, the heart issue, if there's some cerebral issue, which could potentiate, the procedure can potentiate that and can be a trigger of death too, but not necessarily that the seizure can lead to death. Unless it is of a very severe kind and we cannot control the seizures, therefore, say, around 30 minutes or more, uncontrolled, yes, that can lead to death.
Okay. So, another question which came to me, that agar suppose we have cats or we have dogs in the house, and the cat has epilepsy, so is it necessary कि उसके kittens को भी epilepsy हो सकती है, या dog को है तो उसके puppies को भी हो सकती है? Is it genetic?
It's genetic, yes, but not necessary. It can happen, but not that it will happen. It's a possibility, yes.
Okay. And there's a question which came to me yesterday, that sometimes there's a myth hai ki reality hai, I do not know, but if you have pork, when we have pork and humans have pork, they say that it is a possibility of humans getting epilepsy. It is so. Do pigs have a possibility of giving epilepsy to humans?
You see, it's not epilepsy, pigs don't get epilepsy. There's a very interesting question that you posed here. Basically, tapeworms are transmitted through pigs to humans through the orophycal route. And these tapeworms, the developmental stage in the body leads to a certain level migration which can reach the brain. And there it can cause certain inflammatory processes which can lead to seizures.
Okay.
So many times which we say idiopathic means unknown cause of epilepsy, it's epilepsy, undiagnosed. One of the major causes is neurocysticercosis. The developmental stage of that larvae in the brain can lead to seizures. And once we do establish, we do go for stool tests and stuff, and certain at times, if it's possible, we do an MRI, you will find that larval cyst over there in the brain. Then you treat that accordingly, and there's certain medications which, given a period of time, can lead to death of that cyst, and the inflammation can be controlled by various medications, steroids, and stuff. And yes, we'll have a positive result of that. But yes, we do. It does involve a lot of treatment and a longer duration for that.
There is also एक interesting questions I have. जैसे हमको side effects, जैसे मैं कितना सोती हूँ medicines खा के sluggish होता है, drowsiness होता है. जो patients आपके पास आते हैं dogs, उनका भी side effects होता है. They also feel sleepy, sluggish.
See, idea is to when we give this medication, basically, epilepsy is not a disease. It's just a
Disorder.
alteration it's a disorder, it's an electrical disorder in which the threshold of the brain of a person suffering from epilepsy is on the lower side, and there's overflow of current which goes through the body, and there's voluntary contractions.
Right.
Now, that is the basic phenomena behind this. Now, to increase the threshold, we give certain drugs which perhaps are sedatives and tranquilizers, anticonvulsant drugs. Now, they themselves lead to lethargy and drowsiness. That's a normal phenomenon. It does happen. It does happen in dogs, and it happens in all animals if you treat them the same medication. Barbiturates are there, Gardner is there. So, all these medications can lead to certain amount of depression and yeah. And then the seizure itself, you see, this involuntary contraction of the muscles can lead to a lot of fatigue and a lot of lactic acid accumulation, which leads to weakness. Yes.
Yes.
It's the same way in humans too. Yeah.
And I want to like treatment of like जैसे हमारी medicines कितनी expensive होती हैं, so even the medicine for the like animals is like if owners want to get, or even for the animals, is it as expensive for the treatment for epileptic animals? Is it as expensive?
No, it's not a very expensive line of treatment at all. We have so many dogs that are being under treatment for the same as not a very expensive treatment line at all. It's just a matter of getting used to it. Like you take normal tonics and medicines, you take this too.
And is there any special diet you suggest, like मतलब कुछ अगर हम diet change करेंगे, it can help reduce seizures?
It is said that some sugars should be reduced. They potentiate there's certain kind of meat products. It's so said. But if you have a balanced diet, which is normal, it really will not matter much. Certain like bananas have more potassium that can do certain things, can go worse. But we avoid the regulars. The regular food is what we maintain. And the diet which we prescribe as a kibbles which we give the dogs, they're quite balanced. They're quite okay.
Okay. And last question, Haviji, but not the least. What is like, parents get, I mean, I have had messages from parents who get so upset when they see their poor babies, having seizures. So what is the pep advice you want to give to them that, because babies like puppies and cats are like your little babies, and you're having unka pakad ki, they're having seizures, you get so upset. So what advice would you give them to, like pep them up? Kya advice dete ho aap unko, like how do you?
What I would like to tell you is, the good thing here is that the pup or the pet is not so aware as you are of the condition. For him, it's just an episode of something which he might not remember and leads to a certain kind of weakness. At that point of time, he's not aware. but it's not something very drastic which is affecting his mind. It does affect the human mind, but for a pet, it's not. And since you're there, that's all that matters to him. As long
Right.
as you're there, I think it don't matter to the pet at all. So just you, and you have to deal with it yourself. The pet is fine.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. And this has been so much long awaited and enlightening. And viewers in Tri-City, Chandigarh, please go and meet him in the Healing Touch Pet Clinic in Mohali, Sector Phase 2. And I'm not saying that because he's my brother, but he's actually a very compassionate human being. And बहुत कुट खाया बचपन में, मैंने भी कुट मार वार के पिटी है, but we've really bonded together, and he's actually a really good vet and an ex-army officer. So I would really thank you so much, Haviji, for coming on this platform. Any more questions, please contact him directly, and I think all your questions will be answered. And thank you so much for coming on the platform, Dr. Grover. And he's got his younger son working with him, who's a budding vet coming up, Dr. Harveer Growar now. Okay, so thank you so much, Haviji, and big salute to all the vets who are the voice for the voiceless. Seriously, thank you so much.
Thank you for the appreciation. Thank you for the time.
And happy Raksha Bandhan. Happy Raksha Bandhan to everyone. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.